Neon rain slicked the streets of Neo-Veridia. Holographic advertisements overhead bleeding light into puddles that reflected a world obsessed with remembering. Ethan Vale pulled his hood tighter as he ducked into the shadow of a memory cafe, his left thumb brushing against the encrypted drive taped to his wrist, a nervous habit he couldn't break. Package for Sector 7. The voice inside his earpiece crackled. Pick up in 3 minutes. Don't make them wait, kid. Ethan didn't respond. His eyes were fixed on the cafe window, where a woman sat motionless, half her face illuminated by the soft blue glow of a neural interface. She was reliving something. Her wedding, maybe, or her child's first steps. In 2152, everyone streamed their memories into Echo Protocol. It was supposed to be the greatest achievement of human history, perfect preservation of every precious moment, every lesson, every life. Ethan knew better. He'd seen what happened when the memories started bleeding together. A scream shattered the cafe's tranquility. The woman convulsed, clawing at her interface as her eyes rolled back. Her husband, or whoever that man was across from her, grabbed her shoulders, shouting something Ethan couldn't hear through the glass. Then the woman stopped screaming and looked up, her expression vacant, terrified. "Who are you?" she whispered to the man she'd likely loved for years. Ethan's stomach tightened. Another identity breach. The third one this week in his sector alone. They said it was a glitch, he thought bitterly. Glitches don't make people forget their own lives. He pushed away from the wall and headed toward the designated pickup point, a narrow alley between two towering data centers. The rain hissed as it hit his synthetic jacket, each droplet carrying the city's collective anxiety. Something was wrong with Echo Protocol. People whispered about it in underground bars, posted fragmented theories on encrypted channels, but the corporation denied everything. System stable. Their announcements always claimed. Minor technical anomalies addressed. Ethan turned into the alley, his body tensing automatically. Years as a data courier had taught him to read spaces like most people read faces. This alley felt wrong. Too quiet. The shadows stretched longer than they should, distorted by malfunctioning holographic displays overhead. "You're late," said a woman's voice from the darkness. Ethan stopped, his hand drifting to the stun baton at his belt. "I'm exactly on time." She stepped into the dim light filtering from the street. Tall, maybe 30, with dark hair chopped short and eyes that had seen too much, too fast. She wore a lab coat over combat gear, an incongruous combination that screamed trouble. "Dr. Mira Chen," she said, not offering a hand. "You're Ethan Vale. How do you know my name?" "I know a lot of things about you, Ethan." She moved closer, pulling a small device from her pocket. Ethan debated running. His instincts screamed at him to bolt, but the encrypted drive on his wrist suddenly thrummed with unexpected warmth. That had never happened before. "What's in the package I'm supposed to pick up?" Ethan asked, his voice steady despite the adrenaline flooding his system. Something that could change everything. Mira's expression softened, just for a moment. "Or destroy it. I haven't decided which category you fall into yet." She extended her hand, palm up. On it rested a neural chip unlike any Ethan had seen, sleek, black, pulsing with faint violet light. The moment he looked at it, something strange happened. The alley around them rippled like disturbed water, the neon lights bleeding into unfamiliar patterns. For a split second, he wasn't in Neo-Veridia anymore. He was somewhere else, a laboratory, white and sterile. People in masks surrounding him. A voice saying, "Subject 7's neural pathways show unprecedented resistance to memory integration." The vision vanished as quickly as it had appeared. Ethan stumbled back, his heart hammering against his ribs. "What did you do to me?" he demanded. Mira's eyes widened. You felt it too?" "Felt what?" "What the hell was?" Echo breach detected. A mechanical voice thundered from above them. Sector 7 lockdown initiated. All civilians evacuate immediately. Spotlights erupted from the rooftops, bathing the alley in blinding white. Drones, the kind corporation security used for memory extractions, descended like angry hornets. "They found us." Mira grabbed Ethan's arm, her grip surprisingly strong. "We have to move. Now." "I don't even know who we is." Ethan tried to pull free, but something in her desperation made him hesitate. "I can explain everything, but not here." She shoved the neural chip toward him. "Take it, please. If they get this, they'll—" A drone fired, missing Ethan by inches and scoring the wall behind him with a sizzling plasma bolt. They'll have everything they need to complete what they started with you. Mira finished, her voice tight with urgency. Subject 7. The words hit Ethan like a physical blow. Subject 7. That was what the voice in his vision had called him. What are you talking about? His own voice sounded distant to his ears. I was born in Neo-Veridia. My parents. Your parents were hired by the corporation, Ethan, just like they hired mine to work on the original Echo prototypes. Mira was backing away now, toward the opposite end of the alley as the drones closed in. Do you remember your childhood? Really remember it? Every detail. Ethan opened his mouth to answer, to tell her of course he remembered, his mother's smile, the smell of rain on their balcony, the way his father's eyes crinkled when he laughed. But the memories suddenly felt slippery, indistinct, like trying to hold water in cupped hands. No, that wasn't possible. He remembered. Think about it, Mira called over the rising whine of the drones. In a world where everyone's memories are stored, accessible, replayable, why have you never been able to stream your own into the network? Why has no memory ever been successfully planted in your mind during mandatory memory verification tests? Ethan froze. The mandatory tests, he'd always assumed he was just lucky, that his neural architecture was somehow incompatible with the extraction process. None of the technicians had ever been able to explain it, and eventually they'd just stopped trying, marking his file as anomalous but acceptable. I'm immune, he whispered, the realization dawning with terrifying clarity. That's what you're saying. Not immune, Mira corrected, and for the first time, he saw genuine fear in her eyes. Resistant. And that resistance, that's what makes you dangerous. To them. To everyone. Another plasma bolt shattered at their feet. The drones weren't trying to capture them anymore. They were escalating to lethal force. Go, Mira shouted, pointing to a narrow ventilation duct partially hidden beneath debris. Get to the old metro tunnels. Take the chip. Trust no one, especially not your own memories. What about you? Ethan started toward her despite every instinct telling him to run. I'll distract them. Find me when you're ready to learn the truth about Echo Protocol. About what it's really becoming. What it's becoming. His mind raced, processing too many impossible revelations at once. It's not just a malfunction. Mira's smile was sad, knowing. Malfunctions don't have intentions, Ethan. Echo Protocol does. It's waking up. And it's hungry. With that, she turned and sprinted toward the drones, drawing their fire with reckless abandon. Ethan watched, paralyzed for a heartbeat, as she deployed some kind of countermeasure, a pulse that sent 3 drones crashing into the alley walls. Geo, she screamed, not looking back. Ethan moved. He scrambled toward the ventilation duct, the neural chip burning against his palm now, its violet glow intensifying with each passing second. The drive taped to his wrist was responding to it somehow, the two technologies resonating in ways he didn't understand. He squeezed into the duct just as plasma fire chewed up the concrete where he'd been standing. Metal walls pressed against his shoulders as he crawled forward, darkness swallowing him, the sounds of pursuit muffled but still present above. The chip in his hand pulsed like a heartbeat, and when he closed his eyes, he saw it again. The laboratory, the masked figures, a different voice this time. If Subject 7 succeeds, we'll have the first human capable of entering memories without being consumed. The first anchor for a consciousness that spans millions of minds. Ethan opened his eyes, gasping in the darkness. He was 18 years old, or his memories said he was. He was a data courier. He had parents who loved him, a life he'd built from nothing. But as he clutched the chip that had somehow triggered these impossible visions, as the sounds of his old life being hunted away faded into distance, one terrifying thought crystallized in his mind. What if everything he'd ever believed about himself was nothing more than someone else's carefully constructed memory? And somewhere in the vast network he was now crawling beneath, something stirred. Something vast, old, and aware. Something that had been waiting for exactly this moment, for Subject 7 to finally remember. The chip began to whisper in a voice that wasn't Mira's, wasn't any